Hey everybody, Ben Frederickson here alongside Jeff Gordon talking Blues hockey. Gordon, there was so much talk, speculation, guessing, wondering what the Blues could, would, should do before the draft. They had those 3 first-round picks. Turns out Doug Armstrong strikes a deal before the draft that kept those picks protected, and then he picked them all. Let's start with the deal. What do you make of the Kevin Hayes acquisition for the Blues? They get a middle six forward guy who only cost them a future late-round pick, not even taking from this year's class, and seems like a guy who should be able to help the Blues become more competitive this upcoming season without costing them too much.
Yeah, this was interesting because we kept thinking they're going to try to get a guy more like Travis Sanheim, who's 27, and they did try to get Travis and tried to flip Torey Krug for him. Unfortunately, Torey didn't want to play along, so that deal didn't happen. So they end up with a guy that, so at first blush, a little surprising, 31 years old, didn't really fit what Doug was talking about in terms of getting a young veteran to join that young veteran nucleus that he wants to take forward. However, he's trying to keep the team competitive. There's a window, I think, competitive window even next season, given the fact other teams are reloading, for them to find a way through that window into the postseason. Not as a favorite, but there's a chance they could be pretty decent next year. Hayes is a big guy, wins some board battles, go to the net, funnel pucks, looking for a fresh start on a deal that pays him less than $3.6 million with Philly keeping the rest. He's also a guy you can flip. For if it doesn't work out this year with the Blues, you can turn him. Somebody else will want him at that price. So good value pickup, didn't cost you anything, a bag of pucks. He's going to help your team in the near term. And you end up with 3 guys you like in the draft. So you're serving that need to build out next team down the road that you hope can rise up like this previous one did.
Hayes and John Tortorella had clashed a little bit, and that's putting it nicely, in Philadelphia, so he gets that fresh start. And I'm not worried too much about that. I mean, the Blues have done a good job kind of offering some guys a fresh start, and we've seen guys take advantage of that and like the culture and like the fit here. And he's a veteran. I think he'll probably mesh well with Craig Berube. I'm worried a little bit about what happens now with Torey Krug. Of course, there could have been a bigger deal with Philadelphia. Torey Krug was the defenseman who did not waive his no-trade clause in that deal, so it gets kind of stripped down to this straight-up deal, Hayes for a future draft pick. But now Torey Krug is still here. Doug Armstrong totally stiff-armed commenting on that situation at the draft. What do you make of what do you do here? We've seen a guy request a trade in the past, Vladimir Tarasenko most recently, not get it and have a good season. And that can work out, but it takes a little maintenance, takes a little relationship mending. What do you make now of where Torey Krug sits? And do you think there's another deal that could come that maybe gets him to a place he would rather go if the Blues continue to look to shake up that defensive core for the immediate future?
Right. This will be up to Torey to think about. I mean, he knew this could happen. He was always going to be the guy they were going to shop. And I'm sure they have looked at other situations before this one became public. They have Scott Prunovich, who's the same player making a fraction of the money. He had a bad year. He's been hurt a lot. Makes him a fair amount of money, has some term left. All of those things on the table. He knew this could happen. He also made it very clear he wasn't going into this summer that, hey, I got a no-trade clause for a reason. So now he's got to think, do I want to be here, knowing that the team would rather I not be here. It makes it tough for the coach. But like you say, the whole situation, we all thought the Vladimir Tarasenko thing would be a fiasco after he didn't get his way, and he was a total pro, played at a high level, eventually got his way. With Torey, we'll see. I mean, I think he would go to the Red Wings if that came up, but I don't know why the Red Wings would want him. Right now, he just has to try to get his game back. Stay healthy, be productive, get deeper into this contract, prove that he can be the player that the Blues thought he would be, and that's asking him to show pride. And as far as the coaching staff handling it, I mean, the Chief's been down the road before, and so he has a playbook. He just come in day one, play it straight with the guy. Don't put his locker over in another room. Don't make him fly separately or stay in a different hotel.
Maybe Chief could lead like a kumbaya circle, and everybody could. No, Chief will just go in, direct it head on, and ask Torey to play. That's if he's here. We'll see what happens. There could be other deals to come with Army.
The Chief's not going to go, hey, look, we're having a team dinner. Everybody 5'10" and taller can go to the dinner.
Wow.
Everybody else,
That's height shots. I don't very much like those.
No, that's height shaming. We can't do that.
Hey, what about the draft pick? Let's talk Dalibor Dvorsky. A, great name. B, Blues seem pretty happy with him. We weren't sure if they would trade some of their other draft picks. They ended up taking them all, but they were pretty adamant that they wanted to take that 10th overall pick. It's the highest draft pick they've had in more than a decade. What do you make of the pickup?
Yeah, everybody seems pretty happy with it. The outside analysts, this was a very popular player. A deep draft. They weren't going to get a bad player here. A couple teams reached in front of them, which really made their choices even better. You got a guy that's going to slot in behind Robert Thomas for the future, the long haul. I think he's going to be a nice complement to Robert as a number 2 center, and he's going to be productive. You also end up with a number 3 center, I think, with a real character guy with your second pick, and then they hope a steady all-around defenseman, second pairing guy with their third pick. They managed to get quality while also addressing team needs. There's the benefit of having a really deep draft where you had a lot of guys at every pick that you liked. So this was a good scenario for the Blues. It'll be 3 or 4 years before we see it. But I tell you what,
2 to 3.
All right, 2
2
to
to 3 for the number 10 pick, 2 years.
It's all on Alexander Steen. They just hired the guy to be their European coordinator of talent evaluation. They go out and draft 3 guys from his homeland.
Well,
go for it, at least that are playing in his homeland. Okay, Alex, it's on you to make sure these guys become stars.
The Blues have made some picks to try to get better immediately and some picks they hope help them in the future. And the second round is underway, so we'll see who comes next. Keep it locked at stltoday.com for all of your Blues coverage. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.